The Joe Rogan Experience.
Okay, here's a better one. Epstein's killer. That's one. Nobody thinks that guy hung himself. No one. How about that guy? So if you have various theories or various stories that people come out and talk about with that one.
Yeah, and I just actually yesterday listened to Eric Weinstein's solo podcast on Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've caught it. He talks about his kind of conspiracy view of it.
I wish I was there when he met him. That would have been fascinating to see because Eric is too smart. He's almost like too smart. He's one of those guys you talk to him like, oh, you poor bastard. You're burdened. You're burdened trying to make sense of the world around apes, you know.
And all the trauma of like we were talking about, he's still also the 20-year-old kid. Mm-hmm. So he's seeing. He had a few run-ins with authority, which makes him suspicious of authority, and I think that our life experience defines that. So you can see Epstein in a lot of different ways depending on how you've experienced.
Yeah, for sure.
Life.
I mean. But
if you were there, I mean, I can tell you, very nice. I could
CBD kill cliff on your.
I like it. I know actually quite a lot of people that have met Epstein.
Do you really? Yeah, because you're in the scientific community, right?
Yeah, and especially at MIT.
He was a big donor. He tainted a lot of people's reputations by knowing him in a weird way.
Basically, if you took a picture with him, your reputation is tainted.
Yeah. Yeah, whether you knew him or not.
But I think, I do think that outside of conspiracy theories, that he was an exceptionally charming person. So he was good, you know.
At charming people, you mean?
At charming people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean to make it sound.
Yeah, I know what you're
positive
saying.
or negative. It is what it is. Is the devil is going to be charming. So.
Right.
And the other thing is he genuinely showed curiosity towards scientific ideas, even out there, big scientific ideas. Especially.
What do you think that was, though? Have you ever thought about that? Do you think that it's possible that, look, I mean, if you just look at it from a perspective of the big theory, right, is that he's some sort of a intelligence operative, right?
Yes.
So if he's an intelligence operative, don't you think it's a part of his job to try to infiltrate these scientific communities? I mean, there must have been a directive. If he really is an intelligence operative, it's not like they're like, hey, go pursue your interest. I hear you have a really big love of science. Just feel free to do that on the side. No, well, what the fuck was he doing? If he's an intelligence operative, what is he? Is the intelligence having sex with underage girls? It can't be that.
Well, the idea of Eric pushes forward. By the way, I'm talking to him on the podcast I do tomorrow, which is why I'm talking about him a lot. So I've been preparing for like a 3-hour conversation with Eric Weinstein, which will kill most.
Have you met him before?
Yeah, I already did a podcast with him once. Great. And I've met him, and I hung out with him and you and at the Comedy Store.
Right. That's right.
But it's always an overwhelmingly intense experience intellectually. Yeah. So, and in a podcast form, you have to call people out on their bullshit, which is very hard to do with Eric Weinstein.
Yeah, that theory, boy, I checked out 10 minutes into that theory.
Oh, the geometric unity?
Yeah, and I tried to go back to it and listen to it again. I'm like, while he was talking, I'm like, okay, I'm so far behind here of what I'm just going to like try to keep up, but recognize that I'm not going to, and then go back and then listen to it again.
Well, he hates putting stuff into words simply.
Yeah.
He's like allergic to saying simple stuff because it's not beautiful and witty. So he always like drenches everything in humor and wit and this like beautiful language. Which
he talks to the initiated. He when he's describing complex things, he describes them to people that understand complex things.
No, but it's also, I mean, this is the criticism I have. This is what I'm going to nail tomorrow and always tell him, is he almost he hates explaining the basics of something. He just skips ahead, right? Even for the initiated, it's nice to go to the basics to explain like what are the ground we're standing on. Right. He skips right into the depth of things, which is beautiful, but sometimes requires you to listen.
Again, he's too smart. He's hanging out with apes like me.
But on Epstein, on Epstein, he thinks that his arm. It's possible that Epstein is sorry, what was the term used of the
Intelligence community? Is it operative?
Operative of the
Yeah.
intelligence community. But the pedophile thing is a mess up on the part of the intelligence. So
That they didn't know.
They
that he
didn't
was
know.
That.
They
Yeah.
didn't know. So
Well, it could also be that he felt like he get. I mean, remember when this was all started out? When he started out doing that, it was all before social media, right? So he probably thought that he had this incredible amount of power because of the fact that he was connected by the intelligence community. If he was, he probably thought he could get away with it.
makes you wonder of all the horrible things that happened in this world before social media,
Oh, my
before
God.
the spread of information was possible.
Oh, craziness.